welcome back to Lloyd and JD's Too Many Topics. I'm Lloyd.
I'm JD.
Today we're talking about Banksy.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Banksy in a long time, but his name has
He's
come
old
up.
news, man.
I don't know if he's old news.
No,
but
I found that though, like his secretiveness is kind of like near now. You know what I mean? Like there was a time when it was like super like, oh my god, who's Banksy? Like he's so crazy. Now it's just boring.
Right.
Like he went to the Middle East, did another picture. Like oh god.
Yeah, he went to the Middle East and he did up the hotel in Bethlehem that's overlooking the wall and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's a little hard for people to get to. You know, it's not like Dismal Land, which he put up in the UK a couple years ago. It's definitely not like when he visited New York, and there was a huge amount of hype around that when he visited New York. Kind of died off. Yeah, he's obviously been keeping a low profile, but video surfaced this week of supposedly Banksy, in Gaza in a shopping mall doing artwork. And
now I'd believe it if the stuff that you sprayed on the wall wasn't just crap. Like I don't know, you get a quick shot at what's going on inside of there, and there ain't nothing fancy going on.
Well, I mean, number one, it's in a mall, enclosed and stuff, unless he was doing another exhibition, which I don't think he's doing because his main thing is obviously the focus is his current work in Bethlehem. If he was going to do something, I think he would do it a lot more out there. And the other part is exactly that. It was stencil work, but it didn't really look like his work, and it didn't look like anything. It was like a floating robot.
It does raise questions because it's a super weird video. Like, why is he in that room in the middle of Middle East? Yeah. It's a white guy with a British accent because he says something, or either South African or he's British or something like that. And what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? Like, he's in a desolate room. It almost seems set up to me.
Yeah.
Because he's not doing anything. If you look at the stencil he has in his hand, it's like a square. Like, it's not... I do stencil work. It looked like nothing.
Well, we both do stencil work, and that was really nothing.
No, it was just... It was like, and like, he's like... Looks at the camera, he's like, no. It seems set up to me. Like, why is he in this back room? Like, where does this room exist?
Yeah. It just doesn't...
And why is he doing it in the Middle East? Like... Yeah. He went all the way to the Middle East to do a shitty stencil in some random room in the mall. Why?
It's, in all honesty, it is probably a graffiti artist, and it's probably somebody doing something that they shouldn't be doing somewhere. And of course, you're not going to want your photograph taken at that point. But I definitely don't think it's Banksy. I mean, there's other footage.
I don't even get it in a graffiti point of view though, because like, why is he in the Middle East? Yeah. Why is he in that mall? Yeah. It's not like he's doing it on the side of like, the wall, or he's making a statement that anyone's going to see it. Like, you went to the weirdest place in the world to try and do graffiti. Yeah. Like, you're going to get beheaded for like tampering with other people's crap in a country you don't understand. For what? Yeah. I don't get it.
And this is not the first footage in which they have said they've captured Banksy on tape. There was another set of footage from Australia where it was a Banksy piece on the wall where they had the Banksy stencil. The lady was filming it, and she's like, hey, Banksy, hey, Banksy. And
Banksy! Hey!
Turns to the camera. Mm-hmm. If it was Banksy, he would just keep on going. He's not going to sit there and confront you or show his face. He's just going to get the fuck out of Dodge. That's how it is. I mean, the other thing is, too, is even if either of those were legit, which I don't believe either of them are, I mean, his identity is so shrouded in mystery that, nobody knows anymore. I mean, Robert Gunningham was the first guy that they accused of being Banksy. Robert De Gea, for the lead singer from Massive Attack, was the next one because they pinpointed all this kind of stuff. Then they had the criminology researchers that took all his pieces and, centralized. And again, it was Robert Gunningham. So, I mean, who knows? And I mean, the truth of the matter is the guy doesn't want to be known, and I don't think we'll ever really know. And I mean, the only way we're going to know is at the end of the day when one of these guys comes forward, somebody comes forward and says, I was Banksy, here's my proof, but I don't even think he'll ever do that. I think
at the start it would have been more realistic because everyone fucks up. Yeah. Everyone makes mistakes. People make mistakes in any form of work, and he's bound to get trip up sometime. But I think as he got more famous, I think it got easier for him because I feel like a lot of these paintings are set up. Yeah. I feel like he has the rights to be there. It's almost not graffiti to cities nowadays. Like if it happened, like someone thought there was one here and it was going to get plexiglass for fuck's sakes. You know what I mean? Like people almost like it's like raises the quality of your city if it has a Banksy piece on the walls. I don't feel like it's like graffiti anymore. Like, and I feel like he stepped out of that phase a long time ago. Like Dismal Land or whatever it's called. Yeah. He has that land. He hasn't stolen that land and made his.
Well, he was allowed to put up there. He obviously worked there. He has a crew.
Exactly,
I mean, there's people working with him.
He's kind of moved past the point where I'm not dumb enough to believe that this guy's shrouded in mystery because he's so good at evading he's kind of allowed to do what he does. He makes so much fucking money at this point that he kind of pays for the land where he's at, and I'm sure he gives them.
And I'm sure he's got enough people around him that knows exactly who he is, that it's a tight enough group that are working with him that you're never going to know anyways.
So at this point, I don't think there'd be any gratification in even finding out who he is, because it's kind of moved on from him just being a graffiti artist that runs around town that is, shrouded in mystery, because he's kind of just too famous.
Yeah. A credit to him is it's really about, there's the mystery around it.
He must be one ugly motherfucker too. Like, I'm just going to put it out there. He doesn't want to be seen for some fucking reason. I bet just Elephant Man.
But the fact that he's not known, it's always about his work. It's always imagery of his work and all that kind of stuff. That's what stands out. And as an artist, that's really what you kind of want. There are definitely artists out there like Andy Warhol that was more about being Andy Warhol than it was about his paintings.
But no, I argue that it's not about his work anymore. It's about the fact that he just did something there. I feel that, I'm not even joking, I feel now it's more about his name than it is the work. Yeah. Because he could come and paint a cock on someone's wall, and as long as you had definite proof from his team that was Banksy, that would sell for fucking thousands of dollars.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So in my opinion, that drifted off with the graffiti art. When he stopped being a graffiti artist is kind of when it drifted off being about the work, because no one cares what he painted in Bethlehem. I don't know what he painted in Bethlehem. I just know that he painted Bethlehem. Yeah. No one almost cares what it is.
Yeah.
As long as Banksy did it and no one saw him do it, it's worth millions.
Yeah.
And I feel like that, in a sense, has kind of drifted away from his work. It's almost done the opposite of what he was trying to do, what seems that he was trying to do, because now it doesn't matter what you've painted.
Yeah.
No one cares what you've painted. You could splat on the wall, and as long as your team signed off, because that's how you do it these days. If you think you've got an original Banksy, you can get a hold of Banksy's team, which they have an internet site. They will send someone to your house or to your location or somewhere to meet, and they will verify whether it is his work or not.
Yeah, yeah. The funny thing with that is when he did his New York stint and you saw it, he would paint something, people would find it, and then some of the stuff like he painted on doors, they took the door.
They took the door. They cut cement walls out, So now it's not so much about what he's even drawn and even the meaning behind his drawing. It's just the fact that he showed up and did it.
But that's people speculating on it. Obviously these people are trying to sell this stuff. It's a difficult market. But
he still lost that thing that it's about the art.
Yeah.
Because it's not anymore. It's about the fact that there's a shrouded...
I think for him it's about the art. I think for everybody else it's about getting a Banksy and having the money. Like when he did the thing in New York where he sat at the side of the... He had somebody sit at the side of the road with all original Banksy pieces on canvas, selling them for $5-10 a crack, just like you and me do. Nobody was interested.
Yeah, and I think we've had this conversation before when we've brought up Banksy in the past. If you want to go back, look at old Banksy videos, they're at the very beginning of the podcast. But he sheltered himself so much that you only ever have other people's words against him. Like Robbo, for instance, is a guy that I followed. I loved his work. I think he was an awesome guy. And there was a lot of battling between him and Banksy. And you find out a lot of stuff that maybe Banksy's kind of a prick. Yeah. Just some of the stuff he's said that's been vouched for people that do know him in real life aren't willing to tell you who he is. Yeah. But listen, I've met the guy. This is what he's like. And I feel like because he's never come forward, you only have that to go on. Yeah. So, and I invest in the artist. Like if I really like an artist, but you're an arsehole, there's some tattoo artists in this city that are amazing. And I'm not going to name names ever. I'm not going to put someone down on the podcast ever. But there's some artists that I know that their work's phenomenal, but they are a cunt. Yeah. If you are a cunt, you don't deserve my money. I will not invest time in you because that's just who I am. I need that person. So even for me, he's lost it all for me because it's just I need to know that you're a good person at this point. I need to know that you actually have the right sense about what you're doing. And I feel like there's been a time where he should have shown his face. Yeah. He got it. He did it. He did all this stuff without anyone knowing who he was. He mastered it. But now it's kind of drained off, so it's not so exciting anymore. And I feel like it's time that he maybe speak for himself a little bit because there's a lot of, you can look on the internet, there's a lot of conversations that people that claim to know him have had where he's an asshole. Yeah. And he's a little bit of a wet weekend and a bit of a, you know. So it makes you wonder what are his motives? Because when people meet him in person, supposedly, not that it's right, he's a stuck-up, arrogant piece of shit. Yeah. But
and that was the basis of the whole Robbo Banksy.
Exactly. But then when you hear about his work in on the radio or on the news, it's all like, oh, he just wants it to be about the artwork. He doesn't want people to know what he looks like. Is that why he's doing this? Yeah. Because people that meet him in person, apparently it's not. Yeah. So, it makes you wonder. And I think he needs to, there has to be a point in time where he steps up for himself and shows people what kind of personality has been behind all these paintings that we've all loved so much and sold for millions and millions of dollars. It'd be nice to know the man. Yeah. Even if he did a document, an exclusive documentary release on Netflix, like the first interview with Banksy and his face.
And that might come.
I think it's time. Yeah. think his time is here.
There
But
you
I'm
go.
Lloyd.
I'm JD.
Peace.
See ya.